Thank you. By show of hands, whose first time is it at the MMU Business School? By a raise of hands, if it's your first time here. Thank you. Now also raise your hand if it's your first time coming to the BCUR conference, either yesterday or today, raise your hand. And scream, aye! Aye! Thank you. I arrived here yesterday too. I got here about 5 p.m. and I went to the mayor's reception. And one thing that always blows me away is that the people who come from all different parts of the country to be here. And I just find it amazing. I know the Leeds team came in a big number. So I'm curious in this room, where are we from? So if I say your area, I want you to stand up and make noise to represent where you're from. Is that okay, guys? Yeah. So some of you are nervous laughing here, you don't want to stand up. Okay, so anyone from the northeast of England, stand up, northeast. Northeast? We've got another northeast. Alright, thank you. Anyone from the northwest of England, so like our Manchester area, northwest? Northwest, okay, northwest are winning. Northwest. Thank you. How about, who's here from the Midlands? Anyone here from the Midlands? Where's my Robbie somewhere? Who's my Okay, thank you. Where are my Londoners? Where are my Londoners? Yeah. Thank you. Anyone from the south of England, so the southeast or southwest, who've come literally from the bottom? I think they deserve the biggest round of applause. Okay, anyone from the nations? Anyone from Scotland, Wales, Ireland? Give them a round of applause too. How about anyone from anywhere else in Europe? I know I met a few Europeans last night.
Well, from East Anglia.
I'm the one from, yeah, remaining at the back. Okay, thank you. So before I begin,
I think there are people from outside of Europe as well.
Oh, outside of Europe? Who's from, anyone from, who have I missed? Who have I missed? Who have I?
I'm not here today.
No? No? Okay, so all live within...
Americans are gone, by the way.
Americans are gone, okay. So before I continue with my talk, I literally just want to firstly thank you all for being here. But unfortunately, due to human nature, I was only born with 2 hands. So as much as I'd love to, I really want to come around and give you guys all a high five to say thank you for being here. But since I can't do that, I want you to turn to the person to one side, give them a high five and say, I'm proud that you're here. Turn to the other person and say, and you too. And the reason why I want to thank you all for being here today, particularly being a Wednesday at 10 a.m, I understand that it's an early start. Particularly for those of us who have travelled very far, so I do appreciate you being here. And especially last night, anyone who was out last night, we had the meal till like 11 p.m. Come in, guys. I made a new star jumps or something for being late. The next guy's actually star jumps. So like saying, like, you know, we finished our meal very late, like 11 p.m. last night, so I know it could have been a struggle to wake up. And myself personally, when I finished the dinner, I went back to my hotel, I decided to go for a little evening stroll because I like to just, you know, see Manchester. It's not all the time I get to come to Manchester. And as I was walking past Printworks, I don't know if you guys know Printworks, it's a place where the nightclubs are. I'm not gonna lie, I was very tempted. I just, you know, walked past Tiger. I just wanted to, like, you know, just take off my coat and just, I don't know, I was just really tempted just to go inside and just, like, you know, just like shake a leg or something. But I didn't, and I'm here again today, so I think it's a big deal for me too. And we thank you all for being here, but we have one more important thanks to give before I do continue, and that's actually to Nick. Nick gave a great introduction for me, and I'm very grateful, thankful for that. But without Nick, it wouldn't even happen at MMU in the first place. So when I count to 3, so 1, 2, 3, I want us all to shout as loud as we can, thank you, Nick. Is that okay, guys? Yeah. All right, let's test this. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, Nick.
You're welcome. Oh, start jumps time. Pause. We have a rule. Whenever anybody's late, for the first people, they have to do 1 star jump, 2, vice versa, all the way up to however. So, do you mind just giving us 1 star jump, please? Just one.
Oh, that's 4 stars now.
Oh, 4 star jump.
We'll come up here, I think.
We decided as a team, can I call you guys my team? Are we a team? Yes! We decided as a team that whenever anybody comes in late, it's quite distracting, especially for me as a presenter. I might be talking and I might forget I'm talking about and talk about, I don't know, going through the exit or something. So what we decided is that anyone who's late has to do a forfeit, and we decided it's going to be star jumps, or jumping jacks as some people call it. So for the first people coming in, they do 1 and 2 and vice versa. So you guys are number 2s. So when I say go, we need you to do 2 star jumps. Is that okay, guys, yeah? Yeah. Are you ready? Go. Is that selfie? My name is Kyrie Tamale. I am my mum and dad's son. I am my sister's brother, and I'm my brother's keeper. In our short time that we have today, ladies and gentlemen, for my keynote speech, I'm only going to tell you about 3 things. How many things? 3. Thank you. Firstly, I'm just going to tell you just a little bit about myself. Just a little bit, not too much. Secondly, I'm going to tell you exactly what has allowed me to stand in front of you here today to deliver this presentation. And thirdly, I'm going to give you some tangible assets that help to propel me through my university, and after I graduated, that can hopefully help you too. Are we ready? Yes. I don't think we're ready. I said, team, are we ready? Yes. Thank you. Turn to the person to your right and say, are you ready? I'm ready. High-five the person to the other side and say, I know you are. And high-five the person behind you and say, hey. So what number are we on now, team? What number? And guys just say, oh yes, he's excited. Just explain. I met him, James, I met him last night. He's a really cool guy, so I feel really bad about making him do this. What we decided is that for anybody who's late, they have to do a forfeit of jumping jacks or star jumps. So the first group that came in late has to do 1, the second group has to do 2, and you guys are now number 3. So you ready? So 3 jumping jacks. Yeah. 1, 2. Give a round of applause. That's what I'm talking about. So now I just use my train of thought. Like, I might start talking about something else now. No, I'm kidding. But how many of us in here, raise your hand if you consider yourself to be a good or a decent human being? Raise your hand. Some of you are questioning it. Some of you are questioning it. That's fine. I believe that you're all good human beings too, especially coming to a magnificent conference like this, being BCUR. But what we have to understand is that us as human beings, we can't help but be subjective. We can't help to have opinions or make a judgment about things or people that we come into contact with. Who understands what I'm talking about? Raise your hand if you understand what I'm talking about. Thank you. Like some of you might have came in and saw someone over there and thought, oh, you know, I don't like your haircut. Someone might have saw that girl over there and thought, you know what, I absolutely love that dress. That's what we do, we tend to judge people. So I'm guessing that when I came in here, I'm guessing you may have just judged me too, right? Fair to say, and that's okay. You're not going to admit it, that's okay, because I judge myself every morning. I look in the mirror and say to myself, why have I got this bald patch? I've had it from birth, I don't understand, why have I got this bald patch from birth? So again, we judge people, that's what we do. So is it okay if I tell you a little bit about myself to help maybe correct or amend that judgment about my bald patch? Is that okay? Can I spend a few minutes telling you about myself? Yeah. Okay, brilliant. So for me, it all started about 23, in fact, my birthday's on Sunday actually, so 24 years ago, almost. In a car park of a hotel with my parents in the back of a Honda Accord. No, I'm kidding, that never happened. I'm still a bit more classy now. Look at me, it's got to be more classy than that. No, I'm kidding. So let's fast forward 18 years to when I started university in 2010. Now, if you were with me on the 19th of September 2010, you would have been driving along in the car. I had my mum driving it, I was in the passengers. And you would have had a smell hit you what made you just go, oh! Do you know when you get a smell that just hits you? As I looked to the left of the car, nothing but pitch black. As I looked to the right, I saw my mum with her long black hair covering her nose too. And it was at that moment I began to realise I may have made a mistake. We continued driving, bear in mind now there's no more street lights, completely pitch black around us. For the first time on our journey, as we exited the M6 on junction 17, we've got our beams on. I started getting a bit emotional. I'm now 200 miles away from the place I grew up. We continued to go in a bit further and we arrived. Now, if you were in my shoes at this point, it would have changed your life as well. My mum came round like a chauffeur and opened the passengers. I looked at my mum, in her eyes, she looked back at me too. We both quickly broke contact before tears started flowing down. Before we did that, I had someone grab me on the shoulder. Stop, quick, you need to leave here. This building's getting shut down, you need to come with us quickly, let's go quickly. And if you were like me, you would have had no idea why. I found myself on the back of a bus, the number 3 specifically, with a massive coat on, the only sense of security I had left. I needed something to comfort me. Around me were loud people making a lot of noise. And we all had the same question. Where are we going to? 8 hours later, I woke up. A single bed, bear in mind this time. I remember going to the curtains, opening them. Nice day. But then what shocked me next is something I've never seen before, and it was quite mind-blowing. I saw rabbits running around. Now, at the time, I'm a vegetarian now, but at the time I used to eat meat, so I'm only used to see rabbits on my plate. But now I see rabbits running around in the field. So that was quite a surreal moment to me. But when I looked to my right, I saw something even more mind-blowing. Now, I grew up in South London, right? And stereotypically, as you guys can imagine, there's a lot of conflict, a lot of fighting and stuff like that. So we tend to call it beef. You guys heard the concept beef, like you're in beef? Raise your hand if you understand what I'm talking about. Okay, so you understand. Okay, so beef, right? You know about beef, okay. So then what shocked me next is that I saw a cow. Like, I thought I deliberately left South London to avoid the beef, and now I open my curtains and I see rabbits and cows. You might as well laugh, but it's not going to get any better than this. So as I climbed, going back to my bed, put on my slippers, I started to hear a massive sort of commotion coming down the corridor. I thought I'm just going to ignore it, go back into bed, and just kind of prepare myself for my new home for the next 3+ years. Boom, 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 boom. The loud noise continued. So I thought, right, I'm going to have to investigate what this is. As I was walking down the corridor, the noise was getting louder and louder and louder and louder. So I approached the door. So I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, the cow has got in. The cow has got in and is now rampaging this room, which I have no idea. So I thought to myself, I'm gonna do a scare tactic. I'm gonna scare it. I'm gonna win by the element of surprise. So I thought to myself, right, I'm gonna open this door on the count of 3. And when I go in, I'm just gonna scream and make noise, and whatever animal's in there is going to leave. So 1, 2, 3. Ah! But then the next bit was even more embarrassing. I had 6 eyes looking back at me. They were my new flatmates. I thought, I have to now try to do the most sane thing possible so they really don't think I'm a weirdo. I mean, firstly, at the time, I was the only black guy in the whole building. Secondly, I was the only one who arrived at midnight the night before. And now thirdly, I just burst into the kitchen screaming. So I thought, I have not set myself up nicely for the next 3 years. So I had to do the most sane thing possible at a moment in time. It was probably like 11 in the morning. So I went over to the frying pan and started frying some eggs. It's quite a normal thing to do, right? I'm sure someone had eggs this morning. So I'm there frying my eggs, I guess I'll crack eggs first, right? So crack eggs. I'm there frying my eggs. And then I remember being pleasantly amused. I'm sure some of you can relate. Because that was the first time I've been around people with different accents. So I said, talking around the table behind me, one of the guys was from Stoke, right? So he says like, have a look. I'm reading my book. I was like, that's terrific. That's amazing. Then we had a Scouse, like, don't ask me to do a Scouse accent. I was like, what? I was like, what is that? That sounded amazing. But then the next noise wasn't so. I was there frying my eggs. I don't know why it's taking so long, by the way. I'm frying my eggs, sunny side up, I guess. And I hear a, hit! I thought, right, I'm going to ignore this. I already thought there was cow in there, I'm not going to be this. I thought, carry on frying my eggs. And it happened again. Hit! But this time much closer behind me. And to my surprise, with my frying pan in one hand, getting ready to swing at whatever's making this noise, I then saw my new housemate, one leg up, finger on a nostril, clearing his nose. Now please bear in mind, I'm cooking here. Like, I mean, is it normal or is it not normal to someone to clear the nose on the floor? Now, like in Jurassic Park, I want to examine it just to see if it's real. Like, there's no way he just cleared his nose behind me whilst I'm cooking my food. And then the next moment was life-changing for me. Growing up in South London, for me, it was quite difficult. I had a lot of friends who unfortunately sent down at the Old Bailey. Now, do you guys know the Old Bailey? It's one of the, I guess, biggest courts in the whole of the UK. In fact, so that's called Lady Justice. One hand she has a sword, the other hand she has the scales of justice. However, for me, in one hand I had a frying pan. Similar kind of damage, right? But this time I had hope. So in that moment of time, I may have to make a decision. Do I want to continue doing what I've always done, to always have what I've always got? Or do I want to make a change? And in that moment of time, whilst I had just like Lady Justice, a frying pan in one hand, hope in the other, it's almost like she said to me, you can be whoever you want to be. Your past does not equal your future. I shook his hand and we made friends. And the reason why that's important is because I decided right there and then that I'm going to be whoever I wanted to be. I'm not going to let what happened to me in the past dictate where I'm going to end up in the future. I decided right there and then I'm going to attack university with reckless abandon. I'm going to go out there and be the very best person I can be. And it's ironic because that happened on a Sunday night. The next Monday was open mic night. And I decided to declare it to the whole of the campus that I'm now going to be this new person. I wrote a rap. I didn't rap at the time, but I wrote a rap to Jay-Z's song Best of Me. And I told everybody what I'm going to do. You guys want to hear the rap? Yeah. I was hoping you did, I haven't said this. Right. Okay, you ready? Right, this is the mic, yeah? This is the mic. I said, you ain't seen the best of me, so I'm here rapping on Jay-Z's Best of Me. Let the mic burn like a first degree. But I'm here, fam, for a first degree. Yeah, let me burn the beat. I'm moving, check my trajectory. I'm here till 2013. Remember who I am, fam. What, man, it's KOD. Fast forward 3 years to 2013, this happened.
Next student has also been awarded the Olympic Professional Passport, Coyote Damali.
I was fortunate enough to have graduated in 2013, like Nick said, with a very, very high first class honours in psychology. In addition, in that year, I also was given something called the MMU Professional Passport. This is an award given to one, possibly two students out of thousands graduating, and I was one of them. Also in that year, I was elected Vice President of my Students' Union. Now this was a big deal for me, because I was the lead representative for the Students' Union on our Cheshire campus. So I was the lead representative leading Students' Union activities for 5,000 students in terms of education, community, employability, welfare, and sustainability. Also in that year, I was elected one of the directors of the NUS. You heard of NUS? Raise your hands. NUS, and again, this is another huge deal for me, because NUS is one of the largest student organisations, not even in the UK, but on the planet. You know, we have roughly 7 million students in the UK, and we were representing 47 million. So that was huge. And you know, in fact, this huge thing about that is because for me to become the trustee, one of the elected trustees and directors of the NUS, it took place at the national conference in 2013. You don't know, were you there? Okay, now sorry, nodding you see, so I thought you saw me, but anyway. And the reason why it's massive, because if you were in my shoes on that day, just before noon, they said that, they announced, okay guys, the elections, to nominate yourself for the elections is closing in 5 minutes if you want to become a trustee and a director of the NUS. My ears pricked up immediately, like a mere cat. I was like, wow, like, I fancy that. I fancy that. So I immediately ran down, put my name down, I signed up immediately. They said, thank you, you're due to do your speech next morning. I was like, yes. But there's one problem. I didn't even know what a trustee was. I didn't know what director of the NUS did. I go back to the hotel with the rest of the delegates from MMU. I said, yo guys, you know what I've done? I signed up to be a trustee of the NUS. They're like, yes, Cody, that is fantastic. I was like, but what is the trustee of the NUS? I didn't know what one was. I did my speech, and then I was elected. I remember what Lady Justice said to me, I can be whoever I want to be. My past does not equal my future. If I make a decision to do something, I can. So during my roles when I was director and vice president of my Students' Union, in 2014 is when I actually came to the BCUR conference for the first time. And what was amazing was that I actually came with Nick, me and Nick got on the train from Crewe. And if you were with me on that day, you would arrive at Nottingham train station. It was in Nottingham, you arrived in Nottingham. You would arrive at the train station to a magnificent blue sky. Like, we don't get that in Manchester, you know. But we arrived at a magnificent blue sky. Birds, no clouds. And we hailed for a taxi. We got a taxi. You know, I wanted to do one of these ones, you know, to get their attention quicker, like, you know, around the corner, but we hailed for a taxi. And what was surreal for me about this, it's a bit off topic, but I'll never ever forget this, because it changed the way I viewed transportation. It was absolutely mind-blowing. So as we go into the taxi now, I sat on maybe the left, Nick was on my right. We're just having a conversation as you do about what our expectations for the day. Like, I'm sure some of the conversations you had today about the conference when you arrived. So, I'll never forget this. The driver put the car into reverse. And it went like this. Gear 1. And the University of Nottingham's on a hill, right? So we make Gear 2. No sound. And you know what that was mind blowing for me? It was the first time I've been in a hybrid car. I just found it so amazing because at the time, right, I was driving a 16-year-old Daewoo Lanos, and my car, if I put my car into reverse, you will all hear it. It's like brrr. The cars down the road will be hearing it. Gear 1, brrr, everyone's hearing it. So I think it's random, but I'll never forget that. So some things are going to happen to you at this conference. They might not be by the academia, they might not be by anything specific, they might just be something random like that, and it might just change the way you view transportation. So when I can't wait to get a hybrid car. I'm tired of my, you know what I'm saying? I can't wait for that. So we kind of just like glided into the keynote room, similar to how you are in here now. And then after the keynote's finished, after the person who addressed finished, we then went into our breakout sessions. And that's when I realized that you are all a phenomenal bunch. You know, it's like you are all amazing. The first speech that I heard was a girl, do you remember it, Nick? She studied something called Venom. And me and Nick were just there absolutely mind blown. I mean, I didn't know what venom was, and for those of you who don't know, venom is when they take, in the medieval times, they used it as paper or like a manuscript, so they would kill a deer or a cow or something, prepare the skin, and then use it as paper. And just the real thing about that is because she had a piece with her. Like, I'm a vegetarian now, and that just creeps me out. Like, she had a dead deer and she showed us all of it. She showed it all to all of us as well. And the creepy thing about that was, do you remember, Nick, is that it reacts to the temperature in the room. So if the room is hot, the vellum expands. And when the room is cold, the vellum contracts. And that was creeping out because it was a dead deer. You know what I'm saying? So again, it's just, when you're going into your breakouts, I mean, I heard some people unfortunately say yesterday that, oh, they don't want to go to the boring ones. You can't think like that. Because if I thought in advance that, right, oh, this one is vellum, I wouldn't have gone because I'm not interested in seeing a dead deer, thank you very much. However, that is still stuck to me 2 years later. So when you're looking at the sheets, don't worry about what they are, just go to it and take it in. Because you might be very, very surprised at what happens next. And what happened next that day is my turn to present. So this is my presentation close, as you can tell. So this is me. And the hashtag was, that was the hashtag back then, I guess.
Yeah.
And as Nick mentioned at the beginning, I did very, very well. I'm very humbly blessed to say I did very well, borderline 90 to 100% in my final year project. And if you want to know what I did, I studied the effects of a motivational video on self-efficacy and muscle endurance performance. And the reason being is because back in 2014 when I was doing that, I just found it amazing, like, you know, watching motivational videos on YouTube. Who watches like any type of motivational videos on YouTube? You catch yourself up. I just find it amazing that the effects that it has on you. So I was very, very interested to study is that after watching these videos, in fact, you know what? I'm gonna let you watch one actually. So have a look at this for me.
You know what your work, everyone can get what your work, but you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that and that ain't you. You're better than that.
Now, I don't know about you, but like every time I watch those kind of videos, I just want to get down on the floor and do like push-ups or like go run. I'm pumped. See, I'm absolutely pumped. So that's what I wanted to study. What is that effect? What is that pump? What is that effect? What's that oomph you get from watching such motivational videos? And what I found is that after watching such videos, you actually do perform better. You actually do perform better in sport after watching the video prior to you playing. But the kind of ironic thing is that it doesn't necessarily change your beliefs to play better. So to get this, it makes you play better, but you don't believe that you can play better. So it made me question, it made me think about Descartes' dualism. You know, so how as a body you've got two different substances. You've got your mind and your body, like mind and matter. So I was then curious to find out, is it that our bodies outperform our minds, matter over mind? Or is it that our minds outperform our bodies, mind over matter? Let's have a quick look, see what Arnie thinks about this.
The body is very important, but the mind is more important than the body.
Thank you, Arnie. So that was why I was in the same shoes as you 2 years ago. And I remember when I left the conference, when I went back to MMU and I was vice president at the time, I thought that was it. I thought BCUR, you know, it was nice 2 days in Nottingham. You know, their campus is much better than Cheshire, right? Like, they got a lake. And that lake is bigger than the whole campus, you know what I'm saying? So I thought, right, that was it. I thought, Nottingham, that's it, no more again. And then I was sitting in the office, just typing away. I can't remember what I was particularly doing. And my co-officer, like, I type like this, like I'm old school, you know what I'm saying, 2 fingers, but she's like, bashing it, typing it, smacking it out, like, I don't know what she's doing. Like, if there was like an RSPCA for keyboards, I need to ring it. That was a problem. So then I got an email come through. It said something along the lines of, congratulations. Bear in mind, this is like a month down the line. It said, congratulations, Coyote, we want to publish you. And I was just like, wow. I always wanted to become published, but I just never thought it would be possible. But then it goes back to what Lady Justice said to me. I can be whoever I wanted to be. So working with the, you know, it's peer reviewed and stuff like that, so working with the people reviewing it, I then became published. So that is my, I guess it's not good for the light, but that is my paper. So I guess it's crazy, people can now do Damali 2014. Oh! What number, wait, pause. What number are we on now? 4.
Sorry, mate.
You got to be sorry to yourself in a minute. What's going to happen? Wait, darling, hold on, chill. Wait, hold on a second. Because what we decided is that everybody who's late has to do a forfeit.
Okay.
And what the forfeit was is that for the first group that came late, they did 1-star jump, then the second group did 2, and you're number 4.
Okay.
So, and I feel bad because she's got like heels on as well, but do you mind just giving us 4? Oh, is it 4 or 5? That I'm going to wait here. Okay, so if you commence with your 4 jumping jacks, what's the...
Can I do them together? Can I not do them together?
Yeah, I mean, come on, that's fair, guys. Yeah. Okay, guys, what you need to do for me, let you actually have 4 jumping jacks. Is that okay?
4
Or star jumps, jumping jacks. Ready? So whenever you guys are ready, feel free, go.
Are you ready?
Yeah, you did it all together.
Ready? Yeah? Ready? 1, 2, 3, go!
1, 2, 3, 4. Give them a massive round of applause. I won't harass you anymore. Like I said, for me, it's a very surreal moment then to become published because it's something that I love the idea of. I love the idea of people using my surname, Damali 2014, and referencing me. I just found that absolutely amazing. You know, and I didn't think it would have been possible at all, but I just remember what Lady Justice said, I can be whoever I wanted to be. So I'm actually now published. And that wasn't the first time of me getting published, it was then like a snowball effect. After getting published for my project, I then got published in a local paper in my local area. I have a business, I have an events management business, and I also do speaking. So I got put in a paper for that too. So again, it's very, very surreal for me. Like, most of my friends were getting put in the papers for mugshots. I mean, I know it's kind of like a mugshot, but I wouldn't be smiling for my mugshot. So most of my friends were put in the paper for mugshots, whereas I was put in the paper for something much different. Oops. And then again, it was a snowball effect. So I got published for doing my project in Nottingham. I then got published in a paper for my area in Crewe in Cheshire. I then became nationally published, if you want to call it that, for the BBC. So just like a massive snowball effect. Like again, I love the idea of being put on live television. I just like the idea of doing that. And for 2015, I worked very closely with the BBC during the elections and other projects too. You know, here's me live on BBC News or something like that. Here's me with Hugh Edwards. Here's me behind the scenes giving you like a little selfie. You know, and here's me on BBC Newsnight at a debate. Oops. So again, so that was quite surreal to me, and I was very, very proud of myself for doing that, especially from where I was coming from. And then during 2014 and 2015, I also did a lot of traveling. You know, I was riding fast vehicles in Miami, jumping out of planes in Sydney, taking selfies with crocodiles in Florida, and taking selfies again with kangaroos in Australia. You know, so for me, it's quite surreal being able to have the opportunity to do these kinds of things. You know, a lot of these were on my bucket list, and I'm now proud that I can tick them off. Oh my God, I'm having a mare with this. And like I said, because one thing I didn't share with you at the beginning is that the person you see now, I was not that person 6 years ago. You know, if you knew me back in 2010, 2009 time, in fact, who was it last night? I was at the dinner with the mayor. They said, Coyote, how is it that you came through university through clearing? How is it you failed college? How come you got in so much trouble? I was in trouble with the law, in trouble with my parents. How come I have all this trouble? And how come I was able to then get to where I was? They asked me, it's funny, they said to me, was I in the wrong crowd? And then it made me chuckle because for the first time, I maturely thought about this question. Was I in the wrong crowd? And I realized, I wasn't in the wrong crowd. I was the crowd. I was in this game of doing all of these type of things. Let me give you an example. Before I was going to dinners and tuxedos, I was on buses like this, just looking angry all the time. Before graduating with my peers in my university, this is what we did. We just ride. Here's me riding the back of a bus. That's all we did. So, based on my kind of backstory, a lot of people ask me, how is it, just like they asked me yesterday when we were at the drinks section with the mayor, a lot of people ask me, how is it I was able to go from there to get to where I am over there? So, you know, I get students, I even get some students calling me on the phone sometimes. They say, oh, you know, I've got a deadline, I don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. So I'm always happy to give my help and guidance for it. So what I decided to do, I created a package, something called the Student Mastery Program, to help people to do that. I call it the vehicle to your university success. Anyone who has a piece of paper, I want you to draw, if you can't draw that, just draw a cube, yeah? If you can't, I know some of you might be able to draw, but if you've got a sheet of paper, I want you to draw for me a cube. Like, we'll just draw the shape, we'll draw the outline. I'll give you a couple of seconds to do that. Who hasn't got a pen? Oh, you guys are good, everyone's got a pen. Okay, that's good. I said, just draw the cube with you. You can't draw the part, I know it's quite complicated. I didn't draw that either, Just draw that cube for me. Now, quick question, I know all of you in here are very, wait, are they late at the back too? Alright, pause, guys at the back, chill, I saw them, trust me, I've got eyes everywhere. What we decided to do, guys, is that anybody who's late, you have to do a forfeit. Okay? So, for anybody who's late, we decided that the forfeit is star jumps, or jumping jacks, whatever you call them. They're laughing, you know. So, first group of people have to do one jumping jack, the second have to do two, and you guys are number, what number are they? 5. Okay, just up there, if you don't mind. You do the arms in like a bird. Okay, so stand up all three of you, very quickly. And just give us 5 nice jumping jacks. We'll just go flap your own like a bird. You can fly like a bird. Ready, 5. Let's count them. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, together in here, why you wouldn't be sitting at this BCUR conference. So I have a question for all of you. It's very simple. How many wheels does a car have, right? Don't answer it. Anyone who thinks a car only has one wheel, stand up. Anyone who thinks a car has 2 wheels, stand up. Anyone who thinks a car has 3 wheels, stand up. Anyone who thinks that, well, you know, to be fair, some cars do have 3 wheels. Anyone who thinks a car has 4 wheels, stand up. If you think a car has 4 wheels, stand up. Alright, take a seat, take a seat. If you think a car has 5 wheels, stand up. Oh, whatever. Everyone give these guys a massive round of applause. 1, 2, 3, 4. Steering wheel. That's a spare. Very true. To be fair, my car doesn't have a spare wheel, you know. I don't have a spare wheel. I gamble. So the reason that I call this the vehicle for your university success is I base it on a car. I base it on 5 modules or 5 principles. The first one, I want you to each draw the wheels on your paper. First one, I want you to put a letter F. With this, I help students look at finance. You know, a lot of students actually struggle with finance. So this is a module to help students with their finance. The next one's L, helping students with living. So that could be whether they're commuting, that could be whether they're living in halls, or that could be just looking at their daily routine and their daily structure. Next one's A, the academia, which all of you probably excelled at because you're here today. So that's looking like, right, how can you master essays? How can you smash assignments? How can you absolutely boss a presentation? So I help students with that too. The next one's S, which is social. Now I know you have smashed academia to be here today. But I always say to people, if you haven't got the S as well, if you've got an A and you haven't got the S, if you haven't got a social, then you're an ass. You know, you've got to have both. You've got to have the academia as well as the social. You can't just graduate with your first class honours and not have any network around that. And the final one, which is the most important, which I call it the steering wheel, is the mindset. Because if you haven't got the correct mindset, it doesn't matter what the other 4 wheels are doing, you're just going to be driving and not going to be steering where you're going. You might just end up over a cliff. And if you're not cheaty bang bang, you're not going to fly with it. So I call it the FLAMS program. Now, I kind of look at university as an analogy of a parachute. And as you saw, when I went to Sydney, I jumped out of a plane. And as I was landing, it kind of made me realize that, right, this is actually quite like university. Let me quickly explain why. You know, this is when you skydive, you're looking at the horizon and stuff like that. That's how most people skydive, right? This is how I skydive. I was absolutely petrified. Now when I got to the edge of the plane, I was like, no, it's too late to go back. You have to get there. Because usually in a country, it's not in a city, you're not going to absolutely like land on Big Ben and just like start chilling. You're going to do it in a field somewhere. You're arriving over the time and you're talking about people, about the skydive. You've got to take off in a plane where you're about to go off. You've got to reach in 15,000 feet. And you've got about to jump. Then you've got your free fall, because after you jump, you're then doing a free fall before the parachute opens. Then your parachute does open, then you can actually guide it as well, which is quite surreal. Then you're just enjoying the view, and then you land. Oh, again? Really? What number are we on?
6.
Alright, ready? Alright, children. Okay. Everyone give him a massive round of applause for his Everyone who does come in late, we decided to have a forfeit. And what we decided today as a team is that we decided it's going to be jumping jacks or star jumps. So we're on number what? 6. So if you don't mind just giving us a magnificent 6 star jump before you sit down. I'm not the Mac if you want to, I won't take it. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Massive round of applause! So now here's why I use the analogy of a parachute when it does come to university. The long drive kind of represents you traveling to uni, like how I did in my example, going down the M6. you're arriving and chatting where you're not really too sure what's going on, where you don't really think nothing's happening, like you're freshers. It's just all fun, just chatting, you're not really aware of the madness of what you're about to do. You have your takeoff, which is like your second year or your intermediate years, where you're like, okay, I kind of get it now, we're kind of getting somewhere. So you're reaching 15,000 feet, well, it's your final year when you realize, damn, like this is serious now. You're nodding, right? You get what I'm saying? When you're in your final year, you're like, oh my God. It's like, yeah, 15,000 feet, it's getting real now. You're about to jump. Once you're about to graduate, you're like, oh crap, I'm about to graduate. I'm now leaving the safety of the plane. I'm now leaving the safety of university. You got your free fall, which is real life. Like, you're just falling like hell. You're like, you don't have a clue what's going on. Anyone who's graduated, they know what it's like. You're just falling. You're like, what is going on? You got your parachute opens, where you're like, all right, I kind of figured out what's going on now. I'm kind of gliding now. I kind of get it. You got your steering, which is like you're then taking control of your life. Because it's crazy. When you're actually parachuting, you can actually turn and stuff like that. It's actually crazy. You can do stuff like this. You got your enjoying the view, which is you don't start to enjoy life. You know, you kind of got your way, you got yourself on the way. And you got your landing, which is the end of it. So I'm guessing that the reason you're here, because we've all done these two, right? We've all travelled to uni, we've all done a Freshers Week. So I know that the majority of us are in our second year, final years, or are about to graduate. Is that fair enough? Yeah, we're roughly in and around this area here. Cool. So very briefly, for the last 5 minutes before I go, I mentioned right at the beginning, I want to try and give you some tangible assets that help to propel me through university and help me after I graduated too. Because I thought if I don't share it with you, I'll be giving you an injustice. Now, within my FLAMS program, with my Vehicle for University Success, one of my modules I look at is the social aspect, like I mentioned. And a massive part around that is networking. And the reason why I want to bring it to you today is because it's something very, very applicable that you can start doing from now. Because you need to be aware of that you are in the same room as some of the brightest, some of the cleverest undergraduate students in the whole of the country. And give yourself an applause for that. You would not be here, not just anybody can be here. Now, you are either selected by a committee or you're chosen by your lecturers to be here. Think about how many people are in your lectures. Think about how many people are doing your degree classification. Hundreds, if not thousands. Yet it's you who are here sitting here today. So I feel that you'll be doing yourself a massive injustice if you do not talk with each other. Because amazing things happen when collaboration happens, particularly when it's by like-minded people. So when it came to my BCUR conference, the light's not doing any favours, but we actually had a networking bit. So this is us here doing our networking. We had a game. Bit of a close-up of us doing networking. And one thing I learned from my networking when I did is that I'll never forget it either. One of the girls, she was doing a paper on sort of like language. She was doing stuff in Spanish. She does stuff in Italian too. And when I was speaking with her, I remember I said sometimes when you connect with people, they teach you things, something that you won't actually expect. You understand what I'm talking about? Sometimes you meet people and they teach you something that you never thought they would. So I stopped studying languages in GCSE level. I stopped at GCSE, I just studied German. And when I went to speak to her at her poster stand, she told me she speaks fluent Italian, she's now gone to Spanish, she's now gone into Swedish. I don't know, just, like, she's doing like 4 languages and she's like my age. And I remember being blown away. I was like, wow. I struggle with English. I struggle with speaking. I can't say my THs. I used to go to speech therapy when I was little. And this is a girl now who's studying, she does 4 languages. So I asked her, what is her secret? And you might want to write this down because it might help you too. I said, what's the secret for you studying so many languages? And I still apply the principles what she taught me 2 years ago today. You know how we're in the 21st century now, we all have mobile apps? She told me to download an app called Duolingo. Anyone heard of Duolingo before? So you all know it. Back in 2014, I had no idea what was very, very new. So now I have realized there's no excuse to not. Remember I said you can be anything you want to be? You remember I said that? I desperately, before I die, I want to become bilingual in some kind of language. So, you know, I'm going to Turkey in the summer. And I'm going back into Duolingo. I want to learn how to do that. Because I don't want to go around, oh my God. I don't want to go around Turkey and have to say, I don't speak Turkish, I speak English. It's only fair if you're going to a country that you try to at least speak the language you're going to. So I decided, right, I'm going on Duolingo now to try to practice my Turkish. I did German, I'm getting quite good at German. Do not ask me to say anything in German. I'll just tell you Guten Tag and leave it there. I started doing Spanish, etc. And in the networking game, we had a game called Networking Bingo, and that's something that I was fortunate to have won. And I can't remember exactly what it was. You know, I've slept since then, okay? And it was a voucher for like, I don't know, like £30 worth of Amazon vouchers. We finished at 11, right? Yeah. So I'm going to fly through the rest of it. This is one of the modules. Go through that. Okay. So as I close, I just want you to all remember one thing. My example of you can be whoever you want to be. Yes, you are here today at the BCUR conference. Yes, you're here today. You had fantastic academic success for you to get here. But that doesn't stop. It doesn't stop there. This isn't the end of your journey. This is just the beginning. What you've done here is fantastic, and I applaud you for doing that. But one person I look up to, Jim Rohn, I love the quote that he says. He said that you can have more than what you've got because you can become more than who you are. If you just remain how you are, you'll always have what you've got. It's a bit of a play of words, but when you begin to understand it, it's mind-blowing. So as you leave these doors here, yes, you've reached where you are right now, but you can do much, much further. I know you can, otherwise you'd not have been here in the first place. I always like to use the example that I'm not looking at people, I'm looking at lions right now. Outside there is your savannah. Don't leave this room and act like mice. You're not field mice, you're absolute lions, savage beasts. Go there and take life by the horns. And if you would like to connect with me, I'd love to connect with you too. My website's at the top. If you'd like the presentation slides, I'm happy to send them to you. My question here, I'm doing a bit of research at the moment, looking at, I looked at the regrets of graduates. I'd love to find out, I'm doing a bit of research right now on academic success, so I'd love for you, if you can, to email me. I'll send you my the slide for you to complete to let me know how you got to where you are today. And if you'd like to know about more about the S&P program, also let me know. And with that said, I'd like to thank you for your time.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, where was it?
On the floor!
Yeah, I forgot. Thank you, I appreciate it.
You forget to you dropped it.
I know, I was dancing, I forgot.
That's an amazing start to the day. I'm gonna go in the other box today. Just because
You nailed it. It's just you can grab it, it's just down there if you want it.
very good. Very good speaking.
Yeah, so good.
Cheers. Did you? Yeah, oh, sorry for making you do star jump. Are we friends? I'm still friends, yeah? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
How are you? It's nice.
That's it, like, so
That's fine.
Want to study?
We're two Sarahs.
No, project management, no, that's it. And where you from? Jack Bull, that's like that brand, isn't it? Where you from?
It's quite nice.
That's Sunday morning.
Did you do your...
Oh, no, I'm going to take you.
I like how you just went through and you're like, okay.
I was going to say, thank you. Good luck.
So I was like, what year was it? I graduated, so old.
Oh, so you get on
I graduated and I'm the person who's continuing.
Are you? Also, you've got the same thing. You do the same thing.
Well,
I don't think you can message me about it.
I think like, but I did it recently. I don't know what happened. I just stopped paying attention to LinkedIn and just carried on listening. So otherwise I'll do that. But I'm not even
Oh, yeah, I do
because I need to.
So, I mean, I've been on you said on anything that you saw, you got me a link to you said? I need to go.
I just found you. I'll go back.
Yeah, message me and I'll just send you the link to what you got vice president, what uni?
Education.
Of course.
Obviously. Southampton.
My
Southern.
University of Southampton.
6, 7. Well, probably, yeah. Probably those ones, yeah.
And you're in your final year?
I've graduated.
Yeah,
I mean, in your term in office, you're finishing, right?
Yes, I have 2.5, 3 months left, and now I'm doing my masters.
if you need more, you can.
Well, good to meet you. What's your name?
Shruti.
Shruti. So I saying alright?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
I'm good, man. You came late to my tour. How dare you, man?
Sorry. Fashionably late, right?
Yeah. Straight from the new starter. I like you. You actually said that you wanted to get down and do the.
I was talking, yeah.
You're prepared. That's what I'm saying. You're a rugby guy. You're saying just like.
Okay, let's do this. We got lost. We came through the law school, so we were walking down the road.
Was you not here yesterday?
Yeah, we were, but like.
How did you get lost then?
Very easily. We lost on
Oh, sorry.
and we were kind of like, we weren't in this building yesterday. We were kind of walking through. It was like, oh, sorry, but yeah. So we didn't miss much, right? We were 5-10 minutes.
No, not much then for 5. So you heard I was talking for like 45 minutes.
No, it's good talk. Yeah. Enjoy it. Are you sticking around and stuff?
Yeah, I'm going to chair at an actual. I'm going to chair at.
Yeah, the room 319.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I'll
Yeah, so what time? 11:30?
That's what
Yeah, so 11:30.
How was that night?
Yeah, I got tired. You know,
I saw you stuck up. I was like,
tired, man. Like, got to what, at 11?
were you important? You had to be friends.
Yeah, I'm saying, so I didn't want to, like, so I didn't do any wine or anything, like, yeah, so now I can get absolutely smashed, I'm joking.
Well, head over to the poster.
You're waiting a poster?
Just poster, so 19.
Okay, and what time are you in? Are you, I have to connect on Facebook or something, man?
Oh, we'll do, yeah. I'm just like, what do you connect on?
Okay, oh, you're on internet? Okay, cool. It's all on something, man. There's good people in touch.
You have internet? How?
I'm on the Edgeworth.
Oh, Eddie, that's for the Eddie.
You're welcome.
What am I doing?
Yeah, do you love peanut butter? Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Peanut butter is absolutely amazing. You love peanut butter, yeah.
It's good. Yeah.
Is it the NMU, Edinburgh, or
Hiya.
Thanks very much for your talk.
Brilliant, thank you. I'm glad you. Thank you.
And well done. Can you just give me a full title of your journal?
Yeah, it's. Do you want to write it down?
Yes, my new ski one. I just thought, as a mum, with gate crash to see the daughter,
Oh, okay.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thank you, I'm glad you did.
So are you from Lewisham or that end?
Yeah, do you know Lewisham?
Yeah, I was guys.
No, it's alright.
So when we used to at Lewisham and